Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to another live English lesson presented via Zoom platform for conversing and produced by me, Hamid, your English teacher at El Firdaus Bilingual Secondary Schools. Okay, unfortunately, most of the students keep missing our online lectures. It's all done for you after all. And they should appreciate that, because if they don't, they will be the ones who will lose, right? I always try. So, let's start our lesson. Let's begin with, I think I have lost the connection. Okay, let's start with your homework. What about your homework? Have you done your homework concerning exercise C on page 69? For those who did their homeworks, please send it or share it with us in the in Google Classroom. It's okay, Abud. It's okay. So, yes, concerning the homework, I don't know if you, I mean, not all of you did your homework, but some of you sent me their homework. So how to answer this one? The first one, I will do it, okay? Pay attention. Wait a minute, we have newcomers. Okay. Concerning the first one, the first picture, what should we write? We should say or write. First, you should say first, the fish are caught and put into case. Remember that here we are using the passive voice, right? And we have mentioned the difference between the active and the passive voice, the active and passive voices. So when we use the passive voice, we do not care about the doer of the action. So you know how to form a sentence in the passive voice. So here you should say, first, the fish are caught and put into boxes. One student asked me if the word fish is a plural or singular, or how to make a plural form of the word fish. We usually use the word fish as a plural. But if you are speaking about different species of fishes, I mean, if you are speaking scientifically, and you know what is meant by scientifically, you should use the form fishes. I mean, if you are speaking about different species, different types of fishes, so you should say that we should use the word fishes. But now, when we speak our everyday language, I think I lost the connection. Okay, so during our everyday speech, we use the word fish in the plural form. So here you should say, the fishes are caught and put into boxes. The second one, we look at the picture, we see the two verbs in the picture, so we should say, Next, the boxes are, pay attention Dalal, that the verb in the picture, it is bring. So you should use it, right? So you should say, the boxes are brought to land, right? Because we already have certain verb, we should use it, okay? So first, the fish are caught and put into boxes. Next, the boxes are brought to land. The third one, we should say, then the boxes are taken to a fish factory. Yes, a fish factory. So 3, then the boxes are taken to a fish factory. Now, the fourth one, we look at the picture, we see what are they doing in this picture. What is this man or woman doing in this picture? You should say, now we suppose, yes, we suppose that this is inside the factory. So what do they usually do with the fish inside the factory? So we say it's washed at the factory. The fish, okay, yes, exactly, yes, Dalal and Zainab. So you say at the factory, the fish are washed. Why? Because we are using again the passive voice. We look at the verb, we look at the picture, we form a sentence which is at the factory the fish are washed. Now, number 5. What about number 5? Look at them. There's someone who is doing something, and there is some kind of steam beside him, and there is a verb cook. Yes, so we should say then the fish are cooked, or we should say they are cooked. Let's suppose that we are writing a story, for example, about fish. Remember not to repeat the same words. And what do we usually do in order to not repeat the words? We use pronouns, right? So we should not repeat the word fish here. Instead, we can say then they are cooked. And when we say they, we mean the fish, right? So the fifth one, we should say then they are cooked. Now, number 6, you see someone with some cans in front of him or her, I don't know. And we have the verb put. So we should say, remember to change the words, change the conjunctions, and how to start the sentences. Here we should say, after that, the fish are put into cans. The fish are put into cans. Okay, they are put into cans. We, in the previous sentence, we said they. Now we say the fish are put into cans. Now, what about the last one? What about the last one? We have this truck and we have supermarket. So, and we have the verb send. So, the cans, right? because these are the cans. Now we have the fishes inside of the cans, and we usually sell. If we are the owners of this factory, let's say they usually sell cans in which there are fish, right? So you should say the cans are sent to the shops or supermarkets. Now, since that we are speaking at the final step of selling or of fish, can you hear me? Yes, okay. So since we are speaking about the final step of the fish industry, so we should say, since it is the final one, so we should say, finally, the cans are sent to the shops or to the supermarket, since there is a supermarket here. Okay? Okay, I don't know if you can hear me because I lost the connection. So that's it with this exercise. Now let's move to our lesson, our today's lesson. Okay, you mean we can't use the last? No, that you cannot say at the last. You should say finally, or you can say last without at the. Okay. Okay, now so let's move to our lesson. I told you to read and study lesson 5 and lesson 6. So let's check them out. So lesson 5 is titled Great Inventions. What is meant by invention? What is meant by invention? Okay, what is meant by invention in Arabic? In English. Can you define the word invention in English? If we want to know the meaning of a word, what do we usually do? Okay, what do we usually do if we want to check the meaning of a word? We use what? A dictionary, right? So, how to find a word in a dictionary? Let's check the dictionary to know more about the word. Now, just to tell you that this dictionary is not too good. It is a pocket dictionary, so it does not contain all the words of English, but we're just doing. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? If you can, please tell me. Okay, because unfortunately the internet is too bad. So we usually use dictionaries to check out the meaning of words, and you already know how to find a word. In case you don't know, we look for the word inside the dictionary with accordance with the the first letter of the word, right? And then, for example, let's move to the letter I, which is the first letter in the word inventions, right? So here we have words beginning with I. So let's move. The second one is the second letter of the word is N, right? So we look now for the second letter in the word, which is N. Okay, so now we have found the letter N. Now we look for the third letter of the word, which is V. So where's the V? Where is the V? Where is the V? Now we have reached the third one, the letter V. What do we have as the fourth letter of the word? We have E, right? So where's the E? Invent. Yes, we have reached the word. Unfortunately, the word invention is not found in this dictionary. But this is how you try to look for a word in a dictionary. Unfortunately, here we only have the word invent. So, all in all, what is meant by an invention? I want someone to define the word invention. Your colleague Dalal said the action of inventing something, typically a process or device. Okay, I'm not speaking about the action. If you want to say that this is the action of inventing something, so what do we call the action of inventing something? We call it inventing. It is the action. I want to know what is meant by invention. What is meant by invention? Since we are using modern ways of communication, so why not use, for example, Google Assistant? Since you are listening to me now, so let's listen to the Google Assistant and ask him about what is the meaning of inventions.
Here's the definition of invention. The action of inventing something, typically a process or device.
So now I know that Dalal has taken the definition of invention from the Google Assistant. Okay. What I want to know, we have a newcomer. What I have to know is, okay, Bismillah, now you're in. So what I want to know is the meaning of definition. Definition, invention. So what is an invention? Dalal, if you look at the second definition the second definition of invention that you got from the Google Assistant, or if you searched it in Google, you can read that an invention is something, typically a process that has been invented, right? And this is what I want. That an invention is something that is invented. So great inventions. This is the title of lesson 5. Okay, so now let's get back to the book. Where's our book? Here is the book. So here we have these two texts in the, okay, we have a newcomer. On page 52, we have these two texts which speak about certain inventions and their inventors, right? So we find it in a reference book. Now we suppose that we find these two texts inside a reference book, sorry. So what kind of reference do you think that shows such text? We have spoken about what is meant by a reference, and we have said, yes, Delal, thank you for your definition. I like it. Okay, so now we suppose that we can find these texts in in a reference book. And what is meant by a reference book? What is meant by a reference book? A reference, again, is a work which may contain information on all branches of knowledge, or that treats a particular branch of knowledge in a comprehensive manner. This is the definition of a reference according to the Britannica Encyclopedia. So now I've said something. What have I just said? I've mentioned the word encyclopedia. So we suppose that we find these texts in an encyclopedia, right? So you know what is an encyclopedia, right? Can you define the word encyclopedia to me in English? Can you define the word encyclopedia without, okay, with or without checking Google? What is meant by encyclopedia? You're silent. At least tell me that, for example, you can't define it. Okay, now you're being too lazy to define the word encyclopedia. Let's get back to our lesson. So, as you see, the text starts with names of inventors. And pay attention, students. We may lose the connection. If we lose it, try to log into the Zoom application again, okay? So, as we see here, these texts start with names of the inventors. We know the name of the meaning of invention. Now, what is meant by inventor? An inventor is someone who invents something, who invents the invention, right? So, as we said, we suppose that these texts are taken from an encyclopedia, which speaks about inventors. Okay, so let's read them. I will read them for you. John Baird, in London in 1926, Baird, a Scottish inventor, was the first person to show pictures on a television screen. The pictures were not very good, and they did not move. In 1927, however, he was able to send moving pictures from London to Scotland using telephone wires. The following year, he sent pictures to America using radio waves. Baird continued working, and finally, he helped to develop color television. I will read it again normally. In London in 1926, Baird, a Scottish inventor, was the first person to show pictures on a television screen. The pictures were not very good, and they did not move. In 1927, however, he was able to send moving pictures from London to Scotland using telephone wires. The following year, he sent pictures to America using radio waves. Baird continued working and finally, he helped to develop color televisions. Now let's read the second one. Can you hear me now? I don't know if you can. Can you hear me now? I lost the connection. Okay. Now, I think you heard me when I was reading the first text, right? Should I repeat it? Yes, okay. So, the first one, we said it's about John Baird, the first inventor, and the second one is about Guglielmo Marconi. After the invention of the telephone by Alexander Bell, inventors worked on radio waves instead of electric signals to carry sounds. Marconi, an Italian, was the first to do this. In 1896, he sent a radio message over a distance of more than 1.5 kilometers. The following year, he sent a message from land to a ship at sea, a distance of 29 kilometers. Finally, in 1902, he sent a radio message from America to England. Again, after the invention of the telephone by Alexander Bell, inventors worked on radio waves instead of electric signals to carry sound. Marconi, an Italian, was the first to do this. In 1896, he sent a radio message over a distance of more than 1.5 kilometers. The following year, he sent a message from land to a ship at sea, a distance of 29 kilometers. Finally, in 1902, he sent a radio message from America to England. Now, I think it's clear, so let's answer these questions at the top of the page. So, question number 1. Who invented television? So easy, right? But you're silent. So, who invented television? Talal, you should write it well. John is written with John, just like Dima did. Yes. John Baird. The second question. What was his nationality? What was his nationality? Scottish. Yes, exactly. And what do you okay, you know what is meant by nationality. That's it. And when we say Scottish, so what is his country, his original country? No, Scottish. It refers to Scotland. Yes, just like that Amir said. Scotland. And Scotland is part of the United Kingdom. So, question 3. When did he invent it? In 1926. Question 4. Is he alive or dead? Is he alive or dead? Dead. Okay, how could you know that he is dead? Give me a clue. How could you know that John Baird is dead? How could you know that John Baird is dead? Because in the top of the paragraph, give me a full answer. It's been so long. Okay, Dima, maybe he can live these whole years. But yani, we usually know this information from if you use an encyclopedia in which there are certain texts about certain people, usually in front of each one you can see the years of birth and death, right? So let's suppose that John Baird is alive now. They would write the year in which he was born, and they will leave it. Okay, sorry, I lost the connection. We were speaking about how to know if someone is dead or alive. If we look at texts about these people in an encyclopedia or in a book, in front of uh, each one's name, there are the years of his birth and the year and of his death. So here we know that he is dead because of the second number, which is the year of in which he died, right? So um, you have to read it with yourselves, okay? So now let's move to activity book on page 71, right? Let's do it quickly. Exercise A of lesson 5. It says, find these words in the text on page 52 of your student's book. So, here we have some kind of definitions of these words, but before defining them, I want you to find them in the text of page 52. So first, where could you find the word first, the word last? In which text can you find the word last? The first one or the second one. No answer. No answer. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Is it better? Okay. So, okay, that's great. So we're doing this exercise, exercise A on page 57, 70, 71. And it says find these words in the text on page 52 of your student's book. So this exercise is about some kind of, we have some kind of definition here or meaning of certain words. We have to find them. But before that, I want you to look for these words in the text. So where can you find the word last in the text of page 52? In which text can you find the word last? First one or the second one? Where can you find the word last? In which text? Text 1 or text 2? Do not answer this. Okay, now you're answering them. I'm asking you if you can find them in the text. Okay, so these words are mentioned in the text. I suppose that you should, that you will read them. Let's do the exercise. The opposite of last is, you said, first. So, number 2, verb from the noun invention. What is the verb which is taken from the noun invention? It is invent. Yes, invent. Okay, number 3, a large boat. What do we call a large boat? Ship. Yes, exactly. So, number 4, the next here is, how can you express the word the next? Yes, exactly. So instead of saying the next year, you can say the following year, right? Number 5, how far one place is from another. Now, a word which tells you how far one place is from another place. This is the word distance. It means it gives you the exact. Okay, can you hear me now? My connection is so poor. Okay, so the word distance, it tells you how far one place is from another. And number 6, Baird first used telephone to send pictures, then radio. Yes, so first use telephone wires to send pictures, right? Then he used radio waves. And you know what is meant by a wave. I think you study it in one of your subjects. Okay, I'm good. So let's do exercise B quickly. Exercise B. Are these sentences true or false? Number 1. John Baird died in 1888. True or false? False, because we said that the first year is the year of his birth, and he was let me show you. He was born in the year 1888, but in the exercise it said that John Baird died in 1888, so it's false, as you can see it here. So number 2, Baird sent moving pictures to America in 1928. True or false? Baird sent moving pictures to America in 1928. No, Basmala, true. It's a true. Why? Because if you look at the text, it is said that, let me show you. In 1927, however, he was able to send moving pictures from London to Scotland using telephone wires. The following year, he sent pictures to America using radio waves. So, we have the following year. So, what do you mean by this? 1928, right? Yes. So, number 3, Marconi invented the telephone. Marconi invented the telephone. False, because Marconi invented what? Invented what? Or what was Marconi? So Marconi was the first one, as you see in the text, to use the radio waves, right? Instead of what? The electric signals of telephones. Okay, so the other one. So it is false. So the other one. Marconi used radio waves to carry sound. True, as we said. In 1902, Marconi sent a radio message to America. In 1902, Marconi sent a radio message to America. False, because he sent it from America to England and not vice versa. Right? So that's it, I think. Let's get back to our student's book. If you look at the bottom of the book, bottom of the page, we have this grammar books. It is some kind of comparison between the past active and the past passive. Here we have the sentence Marconi invented the radio, while here we have in the passive voice, the radio was invented by Marconi. Baird showed pictures on a television screen. Here we have pictures were shown on a television screen by Baird. Here, first, concerning these inventions, it is very important to mention the name and nationality of the inventors. So we could not just say, for example, radio was invented. This is an incomplete sentence, it is a complete sentence, but gives you an incomplete information, right? So when we speak about certain things, sometimes we have to mention the doer of these things. But here in the passive voice, the focus will be on the invention itself, not the inventor, right? So, and this is the difference between the passive and the active voices. For example, if I say Macaroni invented the radio, I'm telling you this information with the focus being uh, targeted on the doer, the inventor. While when I would say this, the radio was invented by Macaroni, so here I'm focusing on the invention itself, which is the radio, right? So that's it for today. Thank you for your time. Before you leave, I want your names. Please, every one of you mention her and or his name in the chat section. Next time, inshallah, we will study lesson 6 and complete the exercises on the activity book. Yes. We have the first one, Dima. And we have, please mention your name, Dalal Amir. Okay, who else? Sidram Shah. Zainab. Okay, Zainab, it's clear. Basmala is silent. Okay, yes, Sabud. Thank you so much for your time and see you in the next live English lesson. If you have any question, you can ask me and I will send you the link to the recorded lesson with some materials if I think that you have. Pay attention, we may have a quiz next time. So keep it in your mind. Thank you and bye-bye.